Well, you've seen the memes, you've seen the gameplay. Black Ops 7 has had a pretty funny launch. It's received a lot of backlash, especially over the campaign, and rightfully so. But is it quite as bad as everybody has made it out to be? You shouldn't have to spend £70 to find the answer to that question, so I have decided to help you out and play Black Ops 7 for an unholy amount of time so that you don't have to. Now let's begin with the campaign. The Black Ops 6 campaign actually garnered a decent amount of praise. It felt ambitious for the series with some variety, it told an exciting story with great set pieces, so you would think they would expand on that and double down on what worked there, right? Wrong. Black Ops 7 delivers a campaign that is, in almost every single aspect, completely different. You boot up the campaign expecting a story, some missions, maybe a dramatic cutscene or two, and instead, the game throws you straight into matchmaking for a campaign. I can't explain how weird it feels to queue up for story content like you're trying to run a dungeon in an MMO. You're just sitting there waiting for strangers to join so that you can sit together and watch a cutscene. It feels completely wrong. They tried this in Black Ops 3 and it didn't work then, so God knows why 11 years later they have decided to try it again here. Jesus Christ, 11 years later. And once you actually get into a mission, the problems start immediately. The levels do not feel like they were built with co-op in mind at all. The layouts are narrow, the game expects 4 people to somehow move through all these spaces without bumping into each other. It feels like the developers made a standard single player campaign, and then one dude was like, what if we just made 4 people do it? And everybody was like, oh hell yeah, that's the best idea ever. The weirdest part is how progression works. Everyone hits the same checkpoint, and then you're stuck there because your teammates decide they have better things to do. You can stand there waiting while somebody just runs around, someone else spins in circles, and somebody goes AFK. The game literally won't move on because the campaign is now held hostage by the attention span of 3 random people. And the thing is, the game will eventually just move everybody on, but it takes far too long to actually get to that point. And then you get missions that absolutely should not be co-op at all. There is a stealth mission which has a trophy on it for staying undetected. I am playing this mission properly. I take out 2 guards with my silenced rifle, I'm sneaking forward, and then I see my teammate sprint past me and just go straight into head-on action, a full speed charge, and my trophy is gone. I watch it whittle away into the distance. This is the core issue. The core system introduces chaos, waiting, and total unpredictability. The campaign doesn't benefit from having other people in it at all. You're constantly fighting the design, the pacing, and your own teammates just to get through something that clearly worked better before someone decided it needed other people in it. But once you get past the co-op disaster, let's judge the game on its merits rather than this really strange one design choice. The rest of the campaign starts falling apart in completely different and exciting ways. Some of these levels do not even feel finished. You load into these gigantic empty maps that look like they were built for a 50-player PvP mode, and the game just dumps waves of enemies into the map. There is no structure, there are no set pieces, no pacing, just endless clusters of enemies standing around waiting to be shot. It feels like shouldn't have even been a mission. It feels like it was a tech demo that has somehow ended up in the game. Just under half of the levels in the game are like this. You are on this sprawling map that I'm pretty sure will be used for Warzone, and you're just told to run 500 meters towards your objective. It's bland, it's dull, and it's creatively bankrupt. The story doesn't help either. When I saw that Jess from Gilmore Girls was going to be playing the lead, I was somewhat intrigued, but he feels completely wasted in this game as well. It leans hard on Black Ops nostalgia, but there is no direction to it. It throws names, it throws references that are sort of repeated from Black Ops 2. There are even some areas that are just repeated from Black Ops 2. But none of this can disguise the fact that none of it is good. Moments that could potentially be meaningful feel like they're just stitched together from old ideas without any reason for actually being there. And then we have the boss fight. You will have undoubtedly seen footage of this particular boss fight on social media, and yes, it actually is just as out of place and ridiculous in context as it is without it. I still can't wrap my head around why these exist. Out of nowhere, the game drops you into these bizarre arenas where an enemy soaks up 3 full magazines of damage without the health bar barely whittling down, while doing dramatic animations like they're auditioning for a different franchise. Call of Duty has never been about bullet sponge boss battles, yet suddenly the campaign is packed with them. They don't add intensity, they drag the pacing to the ground and turn every encounter into a chore. Not one of them is difficult either. The only thing they serve to do is waste your time. Why are the health bars so big? They even go through many sections where you can't even damage them, as they'll be shielded for no reason, prolonging the fight even longer. That bullet sponge problem isn't limited to the bosses either. Regular enemies take far too long to kill. Half of the time, you think you're fighting mini-bosses, but no, they're just standard grunts with armor plates that might as well be forged from whatever indestructible material the devs clearly broke down and smoked while making the game. Combat loses all rhythm when everything takes 5 times longer to deal with than it should. And the most frustrating thing about all of this is how big the drop in quality feels. The Black Ops 6 campaign was great. It had clear ideas, it had strong pacing, memorable missions and level variety. Everyone who played it appreciated what it did. There was so much potential to build on those foundations. Instead, Black Ops 7 takes this massive turn into experimental territory and strips away everything that made the previous campaign work. The shift feels abrupt and completely unnecessary, as if the studio panicked and reinvented things that didn't need reinventing. Add to this that you always have to be online for it, something I always hate. You can get kicked for being idle, even if playing solo, and the fact that if you leave a mission partway through, you will have to do the entire thing again, and the whole thing is just an inconvenient mess. I can't believe I played through this whole thing. Also, please note that I suffered through this awful campaign so that you don't have to. So if you could just leave a little like on the video or subscribe if you're feeling really kind, that would really mean a lot to me. But multiplayer is where Black Ops 7 finally stops tripping over itself and remembers how to walk in a straight line. After suffering through that campaign, jumping into PvP feels like stepping into a different game. The moment the first match loads, you can feel that shift. The gunplay is tight, the recoil patterns make sense, the movement has that clean snap to it, and suddenly the game starts acting like Call of Duty. I spent a ton of time in the Black Ops 6 multiplayer. It was the first time in years that a COD multiplayer loop genuinely hooked me. The pacing was great, the map design felt intentional, the weapon balance stayed consistent, and the whole thing just clicked. Black Ops 7 tries to replicate that formula, and you can see the foundation is still there. The problem is that everything feels like a slightly duller version of what came before. It's familiar, it's functional, but I don't think it hits with that same force. It reminds me of when a band releases a follow-up album that technically and sonically sounds the same, but doesn't grab you the same way. You recognise the structure, but the spark is dimmer. The core progression systems are straightforward enough. You level up your weapons, you unlock attachments, you prestige, you tick off challenges, nothing groundbreaking, it's basically the same loot you've done before. The gunplay is where I feel the things are actually a little bit strong. The gunplay is satisfying. Call of Duty has got lots and lots of criticism for lots and lots of different things, and the majority of it is deserved, but I have always felt that the actual gunplay itself has always been pretty damn close to industry standard. The maps are probably the highlight of the experience though. Black Ops 7 does have a pretty clean map pool. Almost every map flows quite well with some strong 3 lanes, useful cover, interesting positioning, although my first 3 games were on remastered Black Ops 2 maps, which I did enjoy as I loved Black Ops 2, but I do think Call of Duty has become too fast for a map like Hijacked. Even the more experimental layouts still make sense once you've played them a few times. There's nothing really risk taken in terms of the maps, they're just all functional. And one of the biggest wins is how they've handled matchmaking this time. They either toned down skill-based matchmaking massively or ripped it out. I don't keep up with all of that sort of discussion too intently because it's just, for lack of a better word, a war zone, but the skill-based matchmaking was definitely overtuned in recent releases and it didn't feel as bad in this one. And I'm not exaggerating when I say it is a breath of fresh air. Playing 3 different matches in a row without being punished for it feels somewhat nostalgic. But then right as things start feeling great, the game face plants into this embarrassing AI art issue, where the calling cards etc are just clearly AI. There's no excuse for it really, they can afford to hire actual artists. It's not clever, it's not innovative, it's just lazy, and everything else looks handcrafted somewhat. These assets stick out like they were duct taped on at the last minute. And this is kind of a theme with Black Ops 7 multiplayer. I think it's good, it's competent, and it does work. The fundamentals are strong, the maps are well built, and the combat flow is satisfying, and the matchmaking finally respects its players again. But nothing here is pulling me away from the other games I'm playing. In terms of multiplayer, Battlefield 6 is offering huge scale chaos with insane technical flair. Ark Raiders is doing something completely different and fresh in the extraction shooter genre. Meanwhile, Black Ops 7 multiplayer feels like it's standing outside, tapping on the window, asking if I want to come out and play. I don't dislike it, not at all. In fact, there are nights where I can see myself putting a few hours in throughout the year, but I don't feel the urge, the pull that I had with Black Ops 6. Black Ops 7 multiplayer feels like a really safe sequel, the kind where everything is functional but nothing is memorable. It's like reheating leftovers from a meal you loved last week. It still tastes fine, but you know exactly what it tasted like before. But finally, let's get into the zombies. Back in the day, I lived and breathed zombies. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, even Black Ops 3 I thought had a fantastic zombies. That game Zombies was just so good. Everything that has come after that, though, just didn't hit the same highs for me, and over time I kind of drifted away from the whole thing. Although I did stick around and do one of the Easter eggs on one of the Black Ops 6 zombies. I can't remember which one. It was the one on like the island thing, that one. So going into Black Ops 7, I wasn't entirely sure what to expect. Part of me was hoping to reconnect with that old obsession, and another part of me fully expected to feel absolutely nothing. What actually happened was somewhere in the middle. I actually had a lot of fun with it, but I don't think it's something I'm going to keep coming back to. I started with the main map, Ashes of the Damned, and the whole setup instantly reminded me of Transit, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I promise. You've got multiple hub areas that you travel between using a car, and that structure gives the map this weird half-open world vibe. There's something cool about hopping in a vehicle, driving through undead-infested roads, and then popping out in a completely different zone. Training zombies is still satisfying, mowing down a whole horde feels great, and the car mechanic does add some personality. I don't think it's a bad time at all, but it never fully grabbed me. I'm sure the map is much deeper than what I managed to uncover. There are undoubtedly the hidden quests, the story elements, the Easter egg steps and all that nonsense that I just didn't do this time. But I didn't feel motivated to dig for it. It's not the map's fault, I don't think. I just think I've outgrown zombies a little bit. Then I tried the survival mode, and honestly, that hit way harder for me. It felt nostalgic in the best way. Buying perks, hitting the pack-a-punch, looping zombies in circles and blasting them to pieces. That stuff still works. It's simple, it's pure, and it scratches that old school itch. Gobblegums are still here. I've never been massively into those, but they don't get in the way. Survival mode I felt quite good. If you're somebody who loves zombies, then I think you would find quite a lot to enjoy here. There is a strong foundation, and I do think there's plenty of room to grow if they add more maps, which I'm sure they will. But me personally, I just don't see myself sinking hours into this the way that I used to. Black Ops 7 is a really funny game to discuss. The campaign is an absolute embarrassment to life itself, genuinely awful, and simply not worth playing, even in a I have to see how bad it is kind of way. It'll still disappoint you. But the rest of the game is a competent Call of Duty experience. Not a great one, but a competent one. Will I play the game a lot over the course of the year? Probably not, but there is still some value. If you just want some quiet time shooting stuff every now and then I feel like that'd be fine. Just remember, whatever you do, no matter how much you hate yourself, never install the campaign. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like because it really does help me out. Comment and tell me that you liked it because I will read it, and make sure to subscribe to see more videos from me because I upload at least one video a week. But that is all for now. Have a nice day and goodbye.